vibration. So
Yeah.
he raises your vibration.
Yes.
And that's the way to start the day. And that's how Zuleika starts her day.
Yeah.
And that's how I start mine as well.
Yeah.
So I think that was really cool too. I liked that.
Yeah.
Do you know who that is?
Abraham Hicks.
Yeah.
It's
Almost like Abraham
It's a
Hicks
channel.
is a person, Esther Hicks, and her husband is Jerry Hicks, but they're a couple who's been a long time now. I mean, it's got to be, I want to say almost 20 years.
yes.
Esther channels a entity called Abraham. And it's all about what you have to do, what you would be a good idea to do to live a good life that's stress-free, balanced, successful, how our thoughts create our things, and how we create our blocks, and what we think about has us where we are, because we spend more time thinking about that than what we want and being what you want. For instance, if you want to be healthy, you cannot have your predominant thought being about being sick. And I know that very well because I've been both sick and healthy. When I think back, when you don't feel well and you're stressed out and anxious and you feel down, you spend a lot of time thinking about it.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I find you just spin on the wheel. You stay there. However,
you would know that because you were
oh
very
my
ill.
goodness,
Yes.
for so many years. But when I went raw and I started to feel better, I always say that there was this fog that was lifted I didn't know was there. But when I started to feel better, I can honestly say my predominant thoughts were, wow, I never knew it was possible to feel this good. And those were my predominant thoughts, and that's what continued to happen in my life. I got released from my 9-to-5 job. I started my own business. Things really got better from there. And I was not thinking about being sick anymore. I wasn't. But even when I've been only studying Abraham Hicks for or following and learning and doing, maybe not the full time, I'd say probably 7 or 8 years, versus I went raw 11 years ago. So see how everything kind of just falls in line. But yeah, it's worth, if you don't know who Abraham Hicks is, it's worth looking it up. They have so many videos on YouTube you can't even.
Oh, so many.
Just look at anyone you want to know anything
Yes.
about and just listen to it.
Yeah.
Or watch it.
And they're not long.
They're not.
It's a really, when I'm getting dressed in the morning, that's what I listen to. So, and I always try to meditate first. So
Yes.
by the time I'm listening to Abraham, I've showered and I don't always listen to Abraham. There's other people that I listen to as well. Wayne Dyer, which
Yes.
is how I found out about Abraham. And here's a funny story too.
Oh.
I love Wayne Dyer.
I do too.
I've been a big Wayne Dyer fan for longer than I can think of.
Oh, wow.
Probably since Erroneous Zones. And when did that come out? In
A long
2003 or something?
If not
Even
before that. Yeah.
right. It might have been in the late 90s.
Okay.
So anyway, when I was reading a book of his, what book was it?
The one I Can See Clearly Now?
No.
Not that one, but an older one?
No, a newer one, actually.
Well, the newer one is I Can See Clearly Now. I don't know about before that. That's his latest one.
I Can See Clearly Now is his latest one?
Yes.
What about The Tao?
The Summit, the Hay House Summit was just last month.
Right.
Which, he was a Hay House author.
Right.
They said his latest book was I Can See Clearly Now on that summit, which was in 2016. However,
I have that right here. I'm going to have to look. Anyway,
I don't know.
in one of the books that I was reading, this is many years ago,
Okay.
he mentioned Abraham Hicks.
Okay.
And I ordered Abraham Hicks books, but I evidently was not ready for them.
Okay.
And I never read them.
Okay.
And so I moved up here and I was reading that book. Oh, what is the name of that book? No, Excuses Be Gone.
Oh,
Excuses
yeah.
Be Gone.
Okay.
And it mentioned Abraham Hicks in there.
Okay.
And I thought, I'm going to get some of these books. So I was looking on Amazon and I was looking at the covers and I thought, those books look kind of familiar.
Oh,
And,
interesting.
and we went to our storage unit. Deb Z, Zingy Diva just walked in.
Okay.
We went to our storage unit and got some of the books out because we still had stuff in there.
Okay.
And the exact books that I was going to order
Oh, wow. Now,
were
how's
in
that
the
for
synchronicity.
synchronicity?
So now I was ready for them.
Yes.
So you're so right. And you can't force things, and that's part of success.
It is. It is.
To follow, let the timeline make itself instead of, because when you have to force things, it doesn't work.
It normally doesn't.
When what's something that you had to force that didn't work out?
Well, I forced
time-wise.
Oh, time-wise?
Yeah.
Well, my job, leaving my 9 to 5 job.
Right.
I said to the universe, at this time by the time I wanted to leave, I was a single mom of 3. I said, I don't want to get fired. I don't want to quit.
I love this story.
Because I got to have income, to feed, clothe, all that, take care of me and the kids. However, Louise Hay is who guided me with this. I'm a huge fan of Louise Hay. She's got the book, You Can Heal Your Life. And she always says, bless everything. So I was very fortunate. When I was at my 9 to 5 job, when I didn't have calls, I would listen to Hay House Radio all the time.
That's really good.
All the time. So it was a blessing in disguise because it would keep me peaceful and calm and centered. And I would just thank the universe every day for my job and be grateful that I had a job. I wasn't angry or upset. Normally you leave a job because you're fed up. I was good at my job. I just didn't want to be doing it any longer. So I can still remember when the day came. They called us into an office. We were there. It was like maybe 10 in the morning. I worked from like 8 to 4. They called us into the office, and they are, you don't know what's going to happen because we have meetings all the time. But they said they were cutting back, and they had to have layoffs. And, you should have seen the smile on my face. I was just like, I was the most excited person. And layoff is a really good thing because you get unemployment. Obama was in office, so I got extended unemployment. I got unemployment for 2 years. I got 10 years severance. I mean, it was just, I just couldn't believe it.
Yeah.
But I asked the universe for it, and I got it. I was able to leave my job. I call it under grace in a perfect way. Whenever I ask to manifest something, I always say that because I believe that it's important to say that because the universe will move for you. Mm-hmm. And I didn't want anything else. I didn't want it to be in a way that wasn't under grace in a perfect way. So I got my box to leave, and I'm walking around. I'm so happy. I'm hugging everybody, telling them, bye and good luck. But people thought I was insane. People really were looking at me like, ZULEIKA's cracked up. She's really lost it. How's she going to take care of them 3 kids? Oh, my goodness. What's she going to do without a job? And I've never worked 9 to 5 since.
Isn't that something?
Yeah. That was back in 2011. And
so
it was
6 years ago.
6 years ago, and I started yoga. That same month, I had been making excuses to be gone, why I wouldn't do yoga because I didn't put it in my schedule. And now I was laid off. I said, I'm doing yoga. And that led me to, that's the space that we are in. Half of it, it's a building on State Street, but half of it is the yoga studio. Then our other half is the High Vibe Light. But the previous owner, she sold it back in December. But the previous owner, she apprenticed me in yoga. Yoga changed my life. I had 17 years. I don't know about anybody who sat, but you get so stiff and so much inflammation in your body from sitting.
Right.
It is not a normal, natural thing to sit.
Right.
So anybody who has to sit for their job, make sure you get up every 10 minutes. I don't care what you got to do. Get up every 10 minutes and move because it's really not good for your body to sit. So for the first year, I was so sore I could hardly move. Epsom salt was my best friend. So I would take Epsom salt baths every day. But from that, they're so good for you. But from that, she apprenticed me for yoga. Then I became a yoga teacher. I just now got my certification.
Recently, right?
Yeah, I just graduated from yoga teacher training. So all these steps were all right there. And I had no idea. I just said, okay, I'm going to be a yoga teacher. I have no idea how, when, where, how I was going to pay for it, nothing. But it manifested itself once I made my intention and watched for the signs.
Right.
That's what you got to do. You make your intention, and Abraham says that, but pay attention. Everything around you is always trying to help you as a sign, a gift, or do this, do that, and that's how it went. So that's how I got. So that's something that I definitely manifested or I tried to force it. If I'd have quit or got fired, that would have been a force.
It would have.
And I knew that's not the way.
And then you would have been sad, and you would have been scrambling, and you would not have been able to move forward the way that you wanted to.
Exactly.
Right. It's amazing how it works.
Yeah.
And I know we were doing the show for a year already, and my goal was to have this network. It had been my goal right from the beginning.
Okay.
And it just wasn't working out. And I kept trying and trying. And finally I realized, it's just not time yet. And as soon as I backed down, boom, things fell into place.
Wow.
So, and the rest is history. So success is different for everybody. And to you, success was being able to do what you really felt your calling was.
Absolutely. Even when I didn't know I had a calling, which is the ironic part of the whole thing.
Right.
We just kind of we find ourselves doing something out of necessity.
Right.
Or some people do what they love. I won't say that everybody's in that situation, but I know I graduated high school into college. I was always really bright. I had no idea what I wanted to do. I just did something because I was told, the way I was raised, you go to college, because, they wanted me to have an education, because what else was I going to do with my life? And I still didn't know. So I got a degree, but I still was very confused about what I was going to actually do. So I tell my kids, just keep asking yourself, what is it you want to do? Mm-hmm. Why am I here? What makes you happy? Follow that, because I think that's a better way.
It is.
Than forcing yourself to take a job or anything that you really don't feel fulfilled doing. You're doing it because you feel like you have to.
And being not fulfilled is not being successful.
It's not.
There are so many, I know in my generation, if your father was an attorney, you were an attorney. Whether you wanted to be one or not, that it was just a given. The oldest son or whatever in that family had to go to law school and take over the father's practice. And same with doctors were like that for many years.
Yeah,
and
I would say a lot of professional people are like that. You wonder if you ask some of those children who, was it their calling or their gift, or did they even feel like they had a choice?
Right. I think many of them felt like they didn't have a choice.
And hopefully that's changing. I hope so.
I think it is. I think it is, because I think we're starting to recognize now that it's a career is a lot healthier for you if it's something that you want to do.
Yeah.
And you're a lot better parent. You're a lot better child to your parents. You're just a better person, a nicer person if you're doing what you want to do.
And scientific studies have shown that. And
and health-wise too.
Oh, health! I love to people watch. I people watch everywhere I go. And if you look at most people, you can see they look like they feel burdened.
Yes,
is what I would say. They don't look light and happy and.
Right.
I don't know.
I see them hunched over.
Hunched over.
Right.
That would be true too.
Because the weight of the world is just pressing on their back.
Yeah. And I'm like, man, I wonder.
And
do they know? But stuff like this, your networking stuff will show them if they find that there's a better way.
Yes.
There's another way. And there's never too late. No matter where you are in your life, no matter what your circumstances, what stage of life you're in, there is always a way for you to improve from where you are or to do something that you love.
And you know what? If you are doing something that you kind of like and it's okay and you're making a really good living and you really can't leave, then there's other things you can do to cheer yourself up.
Exactly.
Like take up, if you've always wanted to paint, why not paint on Saturdays?
Right.
Or do yoga or, take some time out for yourself to do stuff that you love.
Yes.
And that way you will be more successful. Success isn't all about a dollar.
No, it's really not.
How would you define success?
I would say fulfillment is priceless. It really is.
Mm-hmm.
Fulfillment is absolutely priceless. Without it, you'll always feel like you're searching for something.
See, and 20 years ago, I don't think that anybody would have said that. I think that
it's come a long way, baby.
Right, like factories. Look at factory workers.
Oh,
you can't tell me that there were happy factory workers.
Not a one.
No.
I mean, I've never seen any of them smile.
No.
I mean, I really no.
Except for when they drank on the weekends,
or when they got the check, and
to drown their sorrows.
Yeah.
So I think things have shifted, and especially for women, which is exactly what we're going to talk about when we get back from this commercial break. Hey, and you know what? All of our commercials are people that we know, like, and trust that take good care of women. When you're there, tell them that you heard about them on the DIVALUTION show and W4 Divas, because they truly do want to know. And a lot of them offer specials when you tell them that you heard about them here. Nice. So we're going to be back. Hope you will be too.
The divas are going to refill their wine glasses. The DIVALUTION show will be right back.
Beth Chorba, owner of Basecamp Fitness Company, 515 Adams Street in Midtown Bay City, located between the one-ways. Look for our building with the beautiful bright red awnings on the top. Come take some fitness classes, learn to be healthier and well. We have great dance fitness, suspension training, city fit, boot camps, you name it. Basecamp is where your first class is always free. You'll fit in because we're a great fit for you. Basecamp, be choosy, be creative, be a champion. Come see us at Basecamp, 515 Adams Street, Midtown Bay City.
I'm down here in the cellar with Lynn Norman. She's with Direct Sellers. It's